It's time for The Pet Show with America's favorite pet expert, Warren Eckstein. Warren is the author of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want and How to Get Your Dog to Do What You Want. He's here to answer all your pet and animal questions. And now, Warren Eckstein.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to The Pet Show. Is your beagle acting a little bashful? Does your Siamese kitten have you totally stumped? Are your chihuahuas behaving a little cranky? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and truly want to understand your dog or cat's behavior as well as they understand yours, if you're confused about your dog or cat's behavior or just want to improve their lifestyle, you know what to do. Stay tuned because once again, right here, right now, it is time for The Pet Show. That's right, America's first and only real pet psychology, pet training, pet behavior, pet lifestyle show. So hop up on my couch. Bring those furry little buddies with you, folks, because it is that time once again to let the animal analyzing begin. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Warren Eckstein. This is The Pet Show, the place where we absolutely, positively, never a doubt about it, love, adore, and as I stress every single week, respect pets and animals as much as you do. By the way, if you have a question about your dog or cat's behavior, maybe you're a little confused by what your dog or cat may be doing, maybe they're jumping, maybe the cat refuses to use the litter box, maybe the dog's not too friendly to the dog next door, he's digging holes in your backyard, the cat's waking you up in the middle of the night, you have a new cat and the existing cat's not thrilled about it. Anyway, you get the idea. If you have a question or a comment or just want to share a great story about your dog or cat, give me a call. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 877-725-8255, 877-725-8255. I'm sorry, that's the wrong number. I'm giving you guys the wrong. Let's start the show again, okay, Alex? Let me give you the right number. If you have a question or a comment, give me a call at 866-870-KRLA. How long have I been doing the show, Alex? 44 years? 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. I feel bad for the... I do need more detail. I feel sorry for the people on my national show. That was a national phone number. The phone's going to be ringing off the hook there. But right now, if you have a question or a comment, want to share a story, want to brag about your dog or cat, great time to give me a call. That number, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. So I am a little confused today, Alex. I'll tell you why. My lovely wife, Denise, is in beautiful Omaha, Nebraska. And I'm here by myself in Arizona with Molly and Willie. It's not easy taking care of the dynamic duo, let me tell you. So Denise is in Omaha for this reason. You know, her mom passed away during the COVID situation, and they were never really able to have the services they wanted. So Denise organized a service for her and her family, which all are from Omaha. So she flew there a couple of days ago. She'll be flying back tomorrow. And I've got to be honest with you guys, I'm not good. I'm not good by myself. You know, there's only so much you can thrive on Vienna fingers and bagels. I'm telling you, even the dogs are looking at me. Come on, Pop, cook something. Will you cook something? 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. We're also broadcasting live on YouTube. So if you're watching YouTube and you want to ask me a question there, feel free. It's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. So let me tell you what's coming up on the show today. Really a lot of important stuff. I'll be answering your questions, but a lot of interesting stuff coming up as well. You know, dogs were originally bred to work, but so many dogs are standing on the unemployment line. You heard me. Why are so many dogs standing on the unemployment line? Today we're going to talk about something real important to me, something I learned in Europe years ago. Dog enrichment, how to improve your dog's behavior by just letting them be dogs. You know, I am so sick and tired of people out there, some calling themselves professionals, just saying, well, the dog's got to do this, and this is what we want the dog to do. This is what the dog should be doing. Bottom line is sometimes you just need to let your dog be a dog. We'll talk about that enrichment. If you have a dog, you're not going to want to miss that coming up a little bit later. And you know, we've talked about why your cat purrs before, but let me tell you, the power of the purr, more than your cat is just being content. Purring can actually make your cats healthier. Later on, we're going to go over all the specifics in terms of why your cat is purring, and it's a lot more than just making you feel better or making them feel better. And, this is something that we don't talk about. I've talked about it in the past, but we don't talk about it enough. It is so hard to say goodbye when our pets cross over the rainbow bridge. We all have gone through it. It's difficult. It's heart-wrenching. But a brand new study suggests that having, you ready for this? Paranormal encounters with your pets may help you get over your grief. Paranormal encounters. Now, I've talked about this before, but this new study is unbelievable. Also, I'm going to share a letter with you. I answer a lot of letters on my YouTube channel. Again, that's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. I got a letter from a father who said his daughter's dog, his granddog, is chasing shadows. What can he do? No one can help him. The dog is chasing shadows. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later on the show as well. As always, plenty of time for your questions and comments. Lots of, got some great stuff to give away. Got some air horns to give away, some Lucy pet food to give away, maybe some books and t-shirts. So if your pet is jumping, chewing, scratching, maybe they're confused about the litter box, that rescue dog isn't housebroken, doesn't get along with other dogs, and some people just believe that if it moves, it must be humped, give me a call. Phone number here, I'll give the right number, Alex, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So I'm in Arizona. It's hot in Arizona. Man, was I embarrassed yesterday. Let me tell you what happened to me. You all know I'm colorblind. Not just colorblind, but literally colorblind. I don't see colors. The only color I can almost see is yellow. I can almost see yellow because it's bright, but I don't see any other colors. So, I told you Denise is in Nebraska. So the other day, I'm running to the local supermarket to get some more Oreos and Vienna fingers. And I put on a pair of shorts and a pair of socks. I rarely wear shorts. This might be the first time in 10 years I put on shorts, but it's 90 degrees. And as I'm standing in line, the woman behind me says, those socks don't match. What do you mean they don't match? She goes, one is black and one is orange. First of all, where did I get an orange sock from? That's what I like to know. So I was pretty embarrassed. I was wearing two different colored socks. I told you I cannot survive with Denise not with me. She puts my socks together, my shirts together, my clothes together so I don't go out looking like Bozo the Clown. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866. What? See, Alex, don't correct me, Alex. Not on you. Not in front of all these people. I'm okay. I'll be fine. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. Boy, this is going to be an interesting show. So here's the question of the day. If your dog had a job, what job would it be? And I thought a lot about Molly and Willie, and it'd be different. Molly is more of a diplomat, and Willie is more of a, I want it, I'm going to go get it. If your dog had a job, would they be a mechanic or maybe I think animals are too honest to be politicians, but what would your dog, or your cat, for that matter, do if they had a job? 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. I got a friend of mine calling from New Mexico. I haven't spoken to my good friend Monty in a long time, so let me put Monty on the air, and then we'll get right to you, Thomas in Thousand Oaks as well. Hey, Monty, welcome to the Pet Show.
How you doing?
I am doing fine. So you're in New Mexico now?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of work in Texas, doing a lot of work in Arizona. So we thought a central location. Let's go back to New Mexico and Alamogordo and set up there, so we're not jumping over ourselves every time we go somewhere. And so we're setting up a whole new training center here, and we're just about done. But we got the service dog thing going. As you know, we lost Ruger last year, and so we miss him a lot. And but we've got a new tripod with us, and he gives us a run for our money.
So you're still doing a lot of work with veterans, with suffering with PTSD. And so are you really seeing, there's so much controversy going on there, Monty. I hear it all the time from different groups. How strong is the effect of a dog on a veteran suffering with PTSD?
That's a really good question, and I'm going to jump into what I would call the center of that question. If the pairing process is done correctly, it can be very, very effective for the veteran. If the pairing and you mentioned part of your show is going to be about this. What is a dog's role? What do you train? What jobs would they have? Things like that. If the pairing process is not done correctly, then you're going to have a number of mismatches where, a dog, say you have a dog that might be very auditory and you have a person that's very visual. They're going to be at odds all the time because they don't speak the same language. And when you train a dog for a mental illness like PTSD, you want to make sure that match, that the dog and the person see eye to eye, kind of see how they function together. Do they function normally in the same way? And that's where you really got to watch out for how you pair these men and women up, especially me working with veterans, how we're going to pair them up. And as you know, 98% of the dogs that we turn into service dogs, we get from the dog pounds, and they turn out to be some of the best dogs we can ever train. But it gives us a good idea of how the dog is acting in the kennel at the pound, gives us a good idea of what they were told about when they were turned in and so forth. It gives us a good indication on where we're going to start. And so that pairing process, we have all the information about the vet, how they live, what they live like, what they do, their activities, things like that. Are they active? Are they inactive? Then we get to select the dog according to that and start minimizing or maximizing the effectiveness of how they're going to get along. But
Monty,
if they're paired correctly, it's very, very effective.
I don't want to run out of time, but I want to tell you the work that's being done. Just last week there, the traveling Vietnam Wall happened to be in Arizona last week at Lake Pleasant. So, of course, I had to go and acknowledge some of my close friends that are on that wall. And basically, there were some veterans there with their service dogs, and it was just amazing, the stories, because I was asking them questions. How are you reacting, and how's the dog reacting, and how have you found it since you've had the dog? And it's absolutely changed their lives. So I'm a strong believer in what you guys do. I don't want to run out of time, but if people want more information on exactly what you guys are doing, Monty, give out your website, give out the information, let people know how to get in touch with you to find out more information and to donate if they're able.
Oh, yeah, you can go to our website at forveteransake.org, and you can reach us through there, or you can find us on Facebook at For Veterans Sake Foundation and read all about us and what we do and how we do things. And that's the easiest way to contact us and learn how to donate if you want to help or assist in some way.
So here, Monty, here's what I want to do. I know you're in New Mexico, but I know you're coming into Arizona, and I'm back living in Arizona, but in the southern part. I'm actually in Peoria, not too far from Phoenix. So next time you're in Arizona, can I buy you a cup of coffee?
Oh, you betcha. We're going to be coming back through there. We've got some testing and some things to do with some of our students, and we'll make sure that you're one of our stops.
Yeah, let me know. I'd love to come down and watch you guys as well. And I don't want to run out of time here, but it's been a while since we spoke. But I know you're on the move. I know the work you do is absolutely amazing. My T-shirts from you are the most worn T-shirts I have, by the way. In fact, I just washed them myself, so never fit me again, Monty. Anyway, thanks for calling. I want to talk to you more, so keep in touch with me and let me know next time you're in Arizona.
You betcha. We'll see you.
Have a good one and bless what you do. I really appreciate that phone call. Hey, the phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a break. Thomas will get to you. The phones are wide open. I got plenty of time to answer your calls. If you want to ask me a question online, feel free to do that as well. The question of the day is, if your dog had a job, what would it be? And the reason I brought that up, it's kind of a fun, amusing comment. My dog's going to be a policeman. My dog's going to be a fireman, a politician. I want to hear that, but the bottom line is, I studied for years in Europe, and I've done a lot of behavior work in Europe. And what I started realizing recently is that so many dogs that were bred to have a job don't have a job anymore. They're literally standing on the unemployment line waiting for something to do. Is that healthy for your dog, or is that perhaps one of the reasons people have behavioral issues with their dogs? They don't give their dog the opportunity just to be a dog. They're so, heel, sit, stay down, don't do this, don't do that, don't jump, don't roll over, don't eat that, don't chew on that. Maybe that's what's causing a lot of the behavior issues. We'll take all your questions. I got some great stuff to give away. If you want to ask me a question, it's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. A quick break, then back to your phone calls on Warren Eckstein, and this is the Pet Show. For years now, you hear me talk about Lucy Pet Food. And I know it's confusing because you guys go to the pet store, you watch TV, and you see all these different pet foods on the market. And it makes you absolutely nuts. Well, over the years, I've had the opportunity, I use that word loosely, the opportunity to kind of get to know a lot of these pet companies out there. And you never get to know them because they're owned by big corporations or investment groups. That's one of the reasons I am so committed. Maybe puppy love, but I had a bit of an argument this week with some people. I'm going to get right to you, Thomas. Here was the argument. Some people say that sitting around with your dog is really relaxing. It can make you feel better. It can calm you down. But cats are different. They told me that cats are not calming. Cats stress you out. Cats are not relaxing. Cats are not the same as dogs. They don't calm you down the same way. So let me toss this out to my feline lovers out there. Are there cat guardians out there that agree with me that cats can be just as calming, alleviate just as much anxiety as dogs, maybe even more, even improve your mood? If you're a cat person out there, I don't mean you look like a cat, but a cat lover out there, give me a call now and let me know whether you agree or disagree. I believe that cats are just as calming, just as stress reducing as dogs, but some people say, you know what, Warren, you're absolutely crazy. Dogs are so much more better at relieving stress than cats. Love to hear from you guys as well. Maybe I'll send you a great gift. The phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get to. I do have a couple of books to give away. I do have some of those air horns to give away, some T-shirts to give away as well. So great time to give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Or you can shoot me a question at youtube.com/Warren Eckstein, youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Let me go to Thomas in Thousand Oaks. Hey, Thomas, welcome to the show. Hey, Thomas, how you doing?
First off, I'd like to say that I really appreciate you doing this show. Very nice of you.
Well,
my question is, I have a couple of them.
Well, thank you for that. But, this show is not my show because the work that we do, the actual helping of the animals, comes from listeners like you, Thomas, and the people out there. So this is an effort of a lot of people, and the main objective, saving as many animals as we can. I know that's part of your question, so go ahead. What is it?
Yeah. Part of my question. My first question is, how sensitive can people be if they say they're allergic to a cat when they're outside?
That's an interesting question. And here's the bottom line. Most people just assume that they're allergic to the cat's dander or the cat's hair, which is a possibility. But the majority of cat allergies really don't have as much to do with dander and hair as they do with saliva, because the cats are constantly grooming themselves and they're putting the saliva all over their body, and that's what most people are allergic to. So I think very often the allergy thing is, and so many cats and dogs wind up at shelter. Well, we have an allergy, we can't have them. Most people can live with a dog or cat and allergies if they so exist. But I think it's a major excuse, Thomas, that a lot of people use, basically saying that, get rid of the cats or don't have cats. I can't come in because I'm allergic to cats, which is really pretty rare nowadays.
Well, I'm feeding 2 cats that were left behind by some people who moved. And I got the neighbors. Some of the neighbors are like really mad. They want me to stop feeding them. I guess they just think they're just going to leave the neighborhood. But they've been here for 10 years.
Yeah, and that's insane. How can even people think that way? I mean, I could understand if you were feeding a large colony. People may get a little concerned about that. But you're taking care of 2 cats that, for whatever reason, people left behind. This is the neighborhood they know. This is the area they know. This is the place they feel safe. I would love to see someone like yourself bring these cats inside and make them indoor cats. But the bottom line is, I don't understand the concept. What are 2 cats outside doing so detrimental that people want you to get rid of them?
One neighbor is saying that his wife is really allergic to him, and she's ill, and his cat, his house, the way his house is set up is a cat heaven. He's got cars in front of his house, trees and everything. It's just a cat heaven. And so these cats, after I feed them, they tend to go back. They tend to go over to his house.
Okay, but there's 2 cats you're feeding. They're outside cats going on his property, and he's assuming that his wife's allergic reaction in the house is from the cats outside?
Oh, no, when she goes out.
Nah. I see. It's tough for me to answer that question, okay? But let me go over what I think. I would say, and Alan just may or a doctor may disagree, so I'm going to call in and disagree with me. I would assume that with all the allergens that are possibly out there, that two cats that are outside in the air, and unless she's going right on top of the cats, I don't think that's what's causing the allergy reaction. Unless she's going right on top of the cats, or sitting in the car where the cats were, or playing with the cats, or hanging out specifically where the cats were. But the fact that the cats are on their property, hanging out, I don't see it. But I'm sure there are underlying reasons. Do these people have any animals of their own, any pets of their own?
No.
Okay, well, there's your answer, okay? There's your answer. It's very possible.
May I ask,
sure.
My other question really quickly is, I'm not doing anything wrong feeding the cats, am I? I mean, I'm feeding them on the sidewalk.
Are the cats spayed?
Where we live.
Are the cats spayed and neutered?
Yes.
Okay, and my question to you is, has anyone considered bringing them in and making them an inside cat at this point?
Oh, well, we can't.
Is there someone that might be able to do that?
I'm not on this block.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if that's a block I would be living on. But anyway, the bottom, I really wish I had a better answer for you. But what I would do at this point is I would literally I would do everything and see if I could find that indoor home for them that can make all the difference in the world. But in the meantime, my opinion, if you're asking my opinion, I don't think it's an allergy. I just don't think they want the cats there. Maybe the cats are peeing or pooping on their property. That's why they don't want them. I don't think it has anything to do with allergies, being that they're outside cats. Got to move on. But anyway, Thomas, I'm going to put you on hold because you're such an incredible guy. I'm going to send you a T-shirt that says "None of my friends woke up right," and bless you for doing what you're doing. So many people have allergies all of a sudden when it comes to animals. Phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. We are going to take a break. When we come back, Pamela, Temple City, I want to talk to you as well as David in West Hills. Got a couple of open lines, 866-870-5752. Come on, guys. If your dog had a job, what kind of job would your dog have? Would he be a white-collar worker? Would he be a blue-collar worker? Maybe a welder, maybe a crossing guard, maybe a teacher, maybe a UFC fighter? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Quick break, then right back to your phone calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. Looking for the Beagles. We are back on The Pet Show on Warren X. I'm looking at my screen. I got an open line there, but I'm looking at two calls. I'm going to get to you, Pamela. You're going to be up next, but first, I'm going to get to you right next. But then we have Helene and we have David calling. And it's interesting. David's got a great question about a dog nipping, which I'm going to get to. But we have two different opinions here. Pamela, at least on my screen, the lovely Suzette Road, Pamela's going to say that cats and calming. And then we have Aline, actually calling from New Jersey, that says cats are not as supportive as dogs. We've started a battle here. UFC on its way. Love to hear from you guys, because that's kind of what we're going to talk about. That I had an argument this week saying cats are just as calming as dogs are. And I guess maybe people with cats just don't brag about it as much. Maybe that's the reason. Give me a call. Let me know. The phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So Pamela in Temple City, Pamela, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Warren. I've called you before when I was, my landlady was trying to make me get rid of my kitties. Well, then she tried to get rid of me, but we're all still here thanks to a killer attorney I had. But I couldn't even stand to think about being without I have 6 of them, and I told God, God, if you're going to make me get rid of my kitties, you might as well take me, because it's just they and I here. And when I had my cancer, they were all there. When I had my surgery and I came home, they were on my stomach, laying right next to me. They knew, and they are so calming and so loving. And they, I know them by their touch. I know who's who. They know me, and I couldn't stand.
So Pamela, I'm gathering I'm gathering from what you're saying that you're in agreement with me that you believe that cats can be just as calming, just as stress relieving as dogs. And the only people that generally say that cats aren't are those people that have never been owned by a feline. So listen, Pamela, I could not be in agreement more with you. That's kind of interesting, though. I'm so glad you were able to stay in your home with your cats and then give a pat on your back to your attorney for sticking with you.
I do, yes. Thank you.
Pamela, thank you, and keep listening. I really appreciate that phone call. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Yeah, Alex, I gave the right number that time. Remember, you can thank me when I do that. Alex loves to criticize me when I make a mistake. Heaven forbid he should thank me when I do something right. Let's go to David in West Hills. Hi, David. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm on my own. I'm kind of a bachelor. My wife's in Omaha. I'm here with Willie and Molly, and they're taking full advantage of me. I guarantee it.
Sometimes having a good dog next to you is, or a good cat, it can make it a lot easier.
Now, you should be running for office. So what's your question for me?
I do have a preference, but I've grown up with animals and I love them. I have a dog. He's actually my son's dog. My son has to move out and has to rehome this dog. He's living with me right now. His name's Strider, and he's half Malinois and half Dutch Shepherd. So he's a Maladutch.
That's quite a combination.
Dog.
Quite a combination.
What?
Dutch Shepherd and Malinois.
Say that again?
That's quite a combination.
Yeah, he's a high-energy dog, but, he will sit and wait for my son to come home and just, he's not, chewing the furniture, running around the house. He's actually very sedate and so loyal and just waits for my son to come home from work. But, once he gets the idea that you're going to take the tennis ball out, he will play all day. I mean, he will play for hours and hours.
But David, that's what I was talking about earlier. That's exactly what that breed of dog does. They're high energy dogs. So when they get the opportunity to expel some energy that they have pent up inside them, that's why you see the Malinois, the Dutch Shepherds nowadays. Years ago when I was doing my work and training in Europe, there were some Malinois, the Tuverins we worked with, and of course mostly German Shepherds and Rottweilers and Dobermans. But you didn't hear that much about Dutch Shepherds. So the bottom line is this is why those breeds are now being used pretty extensively by military and by police organizations around the country because they're so high energy. So here's my concern. Number one, I don't have any concern for the dog. Why does the dog have to be rehomed?
Well, my son has to is trying to move out. He's graduated from college.
First of all, how old is the dog? How old is the dog?
Time with the dog.
How old is the dog?
He nipped my granddaughter.
Okay, how old is the dog?
And so he's.
David, let me just stop. David, let me put you on hold for a second. Okay, how old is the dog?
He's just turned 18 months yesterday.
Okay. Now, the bottom line is this. It breaks my heart to see this dog have to go another home, but you got to make whatever decisions you're going to make. I just want you to be very, 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 very careful about what home you find for this dog, because a lot of people out there looking for this breed for really horrible reasons, okay? That's number one. Number two, I mean, I know this is your grand dog, and I know you love your son, but the bottom line is I'm not a big fan of making commitment and then breaking it. If there's a death in the family, that's one thing. But making commitment and bringing a dog into a home and then deciding that, because you're going away, that this dog's going to have to be rehomed, that's something you guys have to have a talk about and figure out what you want to do. But in terms of nipping and in terms of biting on your granddaughter, that's all probably focused on the fact that this dog is getting nowhere near the amount of mental stimulation that this specific breed of dog needs. This is not a dog problem. This is a human problem, not taking the time or the energy to take this dog, amazing breeds of dogs, to take this dog and get the energy out of him in a positive way. So he's going to look for other ways. And so this is not a dog problem. This is a guardian problem that isn't taking the time to properly work and educate the dog. So I know that's not what you want to hear from me, but I know that's how I feel. So if you can find that perfect home, maybe there's a police department that will work with the dog. Maybe there's someone else, but it's going to be pretty difficult because what's going to happen now is the dog's nipping a little bit because of lack of exposure and lack of socializing and lack of training. He's going to go to another home where he's going to nip a little bit. Then he's going to go to another home where he's going to nip a little bit. And then he's going to wind up at a shelter and ultimately be euthanized based on the fact that no one took the time to resolve the issues that they're having. So that's where I stand. I know I come as pro-dog, and maybe that's what I am. So I think it would be up to you to make sure you find that perfect home. I would research that home like you were researching a pediatrician for your granddaughter, and try to find that perfect home. Not negative about your son, but the bottom line is I'm a firm believer that when you make a commitment, you stick to that commitment unless there's a
I feel that way
specific
too.
reason.
I'm in between this. I do not want to get rid of the dog myself. I mean, I would even take it myself if I could, but we're divided on that issue. So
Yeah.
it breaks my heart. It really does.
The nipping problem, David, could easily be resolved. It's an 18-month-old dog, a little bit more exercise, a little bit diversified training, a little bit more exposure, a little bit more mental. This can easily be resolved, but it needs to be resolved by someone who's going to be bringing this dog into a permanent home and spending the right amount of time educating, socializing, and working with this dog. So that's where you really need to be at this point. I just wish there was another way. I wish there was a way you were. I love the way you talk, so I wish there was a way you were able to keep the dog, or your son were able to keep. I'm not so sure about your son, because I got to be honest with you. Before I gave my dog away, I'd be living on the streets. That's just me. Okay, so an 18-month-old dog like this, and specifically this mix of breeds, this blended breed, it's not going to be easy to find the perfect home for. A lot of people are going to want this dog, but there's a lot of people I don't want to have this dog. So if I can help you any further, David, let me know. But at this point, what I would try to do is just really research and try to find that perfect home for this dog. And this is not a problem dog, and I hate to see this dog to be judged because of a little nipping that's taking place based on a lack of mental stimulation.
Okay. So would you recommend any I mean, he does get an hour of training, obedience training, and then an hour of ball chasing a day. So
yeah, training, but an hour of training may be way too much for this dog. Okay, in other words, shorter periods of time is probably the way to go. I'm a big firm on 10, 15-minute lessons during the day. That can resolve a lot of issues for you. If you ultimately decide to keep the dog, I'll guide you further. But in the interim, if you're not going to be able to keep the dog, it's really going to be your obligation as the grandpa of this dog to find that perfect home, so you know that dog's going to have the type of life that it deserves based on going forward at this point.
Right. Well, do you have any recommendations, or is there like I don't know, it's kind of hard to find, sort of a hub. I know people within the dog world are all connected and they know each other, but
what you may want to do is you may want to contact some of the veterans organizations that were like, for Veterans Sake, for example, for veteransake.org, send them a note. Talk to my friend Monty, who's on air with me earlier. He might be able to take this dog. Monty might be able to take this dog. Tell him you called me on my show. It's veterans for Veterans Sake, for veteransake.org. Contact them. You can use my name. See if they can help you out, because I want to make sure this dog gets that right home.
Okay.
David, give him a hug and a kiss, and thank you for being concerning. I wish I had a better answer, but keep me posted. I appreciate that phone call. The phones are jam-packed. We're going to get to all your calls. We got Helene calling. We got Monica calling. We got Pam calling. We got David calling. We got Peter calling. Excuse me. I'm going to get to all your calls. Let me take a quick break, and then I'll get right back to them. The phone number, I got to tell you, that breaks my heart. That last call breaks my heart. I mean, he was so into the dog, and for whatever reason, they can't keep the dog. But, I know people say, well, there are circumstances that come up. Well, you got to prepare for circumstances that comes up. This is a situation where the kid's moving out of the house. He got the dog, probably wasn't a puppy, made a few errors with the dog in terms of training purposes. And it breaks my heart to see the dog or any animal become the victim. It just breaks my heart. Anyway, hopefully they'll find them. Keep me posted and let me know what's going on there. All right, listen, Gomez the dog. We are back on the Pet Show on Warren Eckstein. Listen, the phones are jamming. I'm going to get to as many calls as I can. We got a whole other hour to go after this, so just be patient with me. I will get to your calls, but after that last call about the dog that's going to be giving away, the Dutch Shepherd, Malinois mix. Let me share this with you. I wrote this week. I was going to talk about it anyway. I did it on my YouTube channel, but let me just share this thing I put together, and it kind of talks specifically about the situation the gentleman called me about with his granddog, the Malinois Dutch Shepherd. I wrote this week, so please bear with me. It's not long, and then I'd like to get your response to it as well. What is dog enrichment? Enrichment is providing animals with needs that satisfy their instincts, which promotes physical, psychological, and emotional well-being. Enrichment provides an outlet for instincts such as chewing, digging, hunting, herding, or scent tracking. Dogs today often don't have a job, and we have stranded them in the unemployment line without appropriate ways to use their natural gifts. Dogs will often exhibit problem behaviors such as boredom, stress and anxiety, or even assertive or aggressive behavior if we're not giving them the enrichment they need. So that's what I was saying earlier on. This is not a behavior problem with the dog. This is a lack of what the dog really needs at this point. That dog needs enrichment. Hopefully, I'm praying, got my fingers crossed that he finds that perfect home. 866-870-KRLA. Let me see if I can squeeze in a few calls before we break. Helene, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. I'm afraid I misrepresented myself to Suzette. Either dog or cat is the most compassionate animal on the well, I shouldn't say that, because there are countries where cows are pets and chickens are pets in America, and they're all compassionate.
I agree with you. Helene's calling from New Jersey. You got to be careful with New Jersey callers. Helene, but I agree with you. What you put in is what you're going to get. I don't care if it's a cat. I don't care if it's a dog. I don't care if it's a horse. I don't care if it's one of my favorite animals in the whole wide world, a mule, a pig. It's important to understand that if you establish that relationship with them, the relationship that you're going to have is just going to be incredible. The problem is a lot of people just assume, it's a dog, it's a cat, it's a pig, it's a horse, whatever, and they don't really try to establish that relationship, which is so important because it lasts for so many years.
It's what's inside that counts.
Yeah,
but if I may, I'd like to share a tear-jerking story.
Not too long. Go ahead.
There once was a cat in my life whose name was Vinny. And he had arthritis. When I was married, my husband and I learned that we were about to lose our brother-in-law through cancer. We were sitting on our bed crying together. Vinny, who was almost crippled with arthritis, struggled up all of the stairs, jumped on the bed, licked our faces, and dried our tears.
Oh, gosh. That's what they do. Helene, that's what they're all about. Great call, by the way. I know you told me to donate the gift, and I will keep calling. And what a shock, Helene, that a cat in New Jersey was named Vinny. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let me do this. KC in Calabasas. Hey, KC, I know you say you have resources about helping the guy who just called. So, Suzette, I don't know if we have that guy's information, but if we do, I think his name was Thomas. Thomas, if you call back and speak to Suzette, so you have some help for him, KC?
Yes, sir. We do, my wife and I, well, she's not my wife yet, but we do a lot of foster, and we've got quite a few resources out here. And also, I work in veterinary hospitals. We're doing a lot of building of new vet hospitals. So I've got a bank that we're converting to like a 2-story animal hospital in Long Beach. And then a friend of mine, Dr. May, she's a vegan vet, and she's converting a barn in Arizona. I know you. I do
know Dr. May. Dr. May's actually been on the air with me.
Yeah. She's building a barn out there, making it an animal hospital. So I listen to you all the time, man. You're the greatest. I have a street dog I rescued.
Listen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on hold, and I want, Suzette, if we can get down his information, and Thomas, if you're still listening, please call back so Suzette can get your information, and we can put the two of you together, and maybe once again on the Pet Show, we can save another dog. Let me take a quick break here. When we come back, we have Pam, Monica, David, Peter. I'm going to get to all your calls, I promise, but right now, I'm going to brag about my Hugs and Kisses vitamin mineral supplement treats. Check them out if you want a healthy or happy dog or cat. Check out Hugs and Kisses, the one with my name and my face on the label. It has less... And we are back on the Pet Show. Let's see if we can squeeze another call before the top of the hour, and then we'll go to your calls. Will be my first calls up the next hour, I promise. But right now, let's see if we can squeeze Pam in. Hey, Pam, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren. Hi. Thank you for taking my call. And my cat and I are hopping up on your couch right now, so you can analyze my cat.
How old is your cat?
He's 13.
Okay, I see from my screen you have a cat that was suddenly a pain in the butt and very mean. Now, all of a sudden, he's becoming sweet. Is that pretty much it?
He was an unhappy cat his whole life. He was okay with me, but he would hiss at my husband and bat at him. And it was so sad because my husband is the one that wanted him. He thought he was such a neat cat, and he just was so mean to my husband. Well, anyway, just in about the last year, he's turned into a total lap cat. He loves my husband. He can't stay away from him.
That's strictly age. That's strictly age. It's a little bit of kitty Alzheimer, a little bit of dementia. You know, I had a grandfather that didn't particularly care for me that much. But when he got older, as he got older, he started liking me a little bit more. I don't know why he didn't like me. But anyway, the bottom line, it's not unusual for dogs or cats as they get into those, what I call chronologically challenged years, those older years. Just like with some people that might have been assertive and aggressive their whole lives, but as they get older, they kind of reach that point where they start mellowing out, and that's exactly what's going on here. So nothing to worry about. Kiss and hug him as much as you can, and I'm glad he's getting along with your husband. I'm glad you kept your husband and the cat, by the way, together.
They both got to stay. Yep.
That's the important. And by the way, we're neighbors now. Prescott's not too far away from Peoria, so you're going to be seeing my face up in Prescott pretty frequently.
Yes, I know. It's a wonderful place to be. And I wanted to also say, cats are just as loving and comforting as dogs. The cat people who say that about cats, I really believe they've never been around a cat, because cats are
as I say, they've never been owned by a cat. That's the bottom line.
That's right.
Anyway, Pam, a great call, by the way. You know what? Let me do this. Pam, I'm going to put you on hold. And I know you're in Prescott. I'm trying to think of what I can send you there. I'm kind of limited to what I can send Prescott, what I'm going to send. You know what? I'm going to send you a copy of my cat book, How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want. That'll explain as your cat goes into those geriatric years while the change in behavior. Yeah, Alex, I'm looking at the clock. I know I got a break for the top of the hour, which I will do. When we come back, here's the bottom line. Peter, Monica, Pam, David, Kate. I'm going to get to all your calls, I promise. The phone number is 866-870-KRLA. When we come back, plenty of time for your calls. And I still want to find out, if your dog had a job, what job would your dog have? I want to hear from you. Blue collar, white collar. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA. The phone number. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show.
Warren Eckstein, the man for your pets. To stumble, but we haven't yet. Your dog is barking, your cat missed the box. Your ferret's chewed up all your favorite socks. You sure knows how to get inside your pet's head. But baby, it's you who needs to be trained instead.
And if you love your dogs and love your cats and want to understand why they do the things they do, or how to resolve any issues you may be having with them, or any issues they may be having with you, great time to give me a call if you have a question or a comment. The phone number here at the Pet Show, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get through. Plenty of time for your calls. Got a few things still to give away on the show as well. The question of the day is simply this. You know, I talked earlier about when that gentleman, I think it was Thomas that called me, about the importance of enrichment for your dogs and how critical that was for behavior. And it really, really is. So it kind of provoked the question of the week, because so many dogs are just not getting the stimulation, the instinctive behavior work that they need. So my question was, if your dog had a job, what would that job be? What kind of job would your dog have? Would it be kind of a white-collar job? Would it be more of a blue-collar job? Would it be helping people type of job, or not helping people? I know it sounds a little frivolous, but it's really important, because people that really understand their dogs and really delve into their dog's behavior and emotional needs can really relate to if their dog was standing upright, what would their dog be doing? I'd love to hear from you. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Peter, we're going to get to you. I got to take your call. Monica, we're going to get to you. But right now, let me go to David. I know he calls a lot, but let's go to David in Irvine. Hey, David. David, welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren. First, to address your question, my dog is called the Sheriff. He's retired now. He's 14, but he used to run into on the big dog side. He's a 18-pound beagle. He would run into dog fights and try to break them up and be completely ignored by the bigger dogs.
You know, there are certain dogs that are like that. I have a good friend of mine, Joe, that does a lot of work with German Shepherd Rescue, and for years he had this beautiful female shepherd, and whenever there were, they took a lot of dogs in off the streets and out of the shelters, and whenever dogs were not getting along or getting in little battles, he would use this one dog to go in there and just, this dog kind of said, hey, knock it off, guys, knock it off. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and the rest of my comments are about cats. One, yes, they're extremely comforting, and they're different from dogs. Dogs are more social, but cats are extremely comforting. Two, a couple calls ago, someone was saying that their neighbor complains about cat allergies outside.
Yeah.
A lot of people blame allergies on whatever they want without actually having them tested. That person's neighbor may have a tree pollen allergy, and she blames it on a cat. So
I know it's interesting, but you're absolutely right. There's a couple of things. One of the reasons that so many animals wind up at shelters is also because people claim allergies. It's like the perfect excuse. We're moving, or we have allergies, or we have this, or we have that. I don't understand this whole disposable pet mentality that some people have, and just it makes me absolutely nuts. But you're absolutely right. But one little differentiation, I believe that if cats are brought up the same way, all of my cats were just as affectionate as any of the dogs I had. They would respond to me. They would come when I called them. They would walk on a leash and harness because I put in the time with them. Yeah, it may take a little bit more time to convince a cat that it's okay to go for a walk, but if you put in that time, they really start enjoying that. In fact, it really helps with their behavior because, as I was talking about earlier, that instinctiveness, that getting outside and getting those smells and looking around can make all the difference in the world. So I think cats and dogs can equally be as supportive, provided the guardians are the same way.
You mentioned walking your cat. My cat spontaneously started following my dog. The dog was on a leash in the neighborhood. The cat was not. And she would go probably half a mile from our house and get sometimes buzzed by mockingbirds and upset the crows in the neighborhood. But she just started doing this, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the cats walking outside without a leash, but if the cat followed you around, it went okay. It went okay. Hey, David, I gotta run, but I'm great call, by the way, and you're absolutely right. A lot of people blame allergies before they even get tested to see what they're allergic to. There was a point in my life where someone said that I was allergic to dogs and cats, and I said, "You better come up with."
Can I give you two really quick points?
Yeah, go ahead.
I once found that cats are allowed to be off leash in their neighborhood because it's a public good against rodents. And also, I believe there was once a law, it might have been a Viking law, that you had to have a cat on board to keep the rodents down or they would eat all your food on board.
Well, that's exactly. Columbus had cats on the boat. That's how the English short hair wound up in this country when they were shipping from England. They always had grains and everything on the boat, and to keep the rodent population under control, all the ships that were traveling across the ocean all had cats on them. Many of the breeds came from other places because of that. So, yeah, a great call, by the way. Thank you. You keep calling me. I appreciate it. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Peter, I got to take your call because I don't understand what it says on my screen. And Suzette is pretty clear when she writes on my screen. So, Peter in Alhambra, welcome to the Pet Show.
Hey, Warren. I talked to you before about Franklin the turtle because we had gone to the St. Louis aquarium and we saw they brought out this turtle named Franklin, and the girl said he was very photogenic, and he comes up to the fence there. And this boy took a picture of him, and I swear he put his head way out as if he was smiling and saying, okay, take my picture now. Anyway, The reason I called is I was thinking about Franklin the turtle, and he'd be a model. I swear he'd be a model. I could picture him on the runway, moving his head to the left and to the right, and smiling, and people taking pictures of him.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me. You know, when I was growing up, years and years and years ago, before I realized how abusive circuses were, I'm talking about when I was a child. Later on in life, when I became a peace officer, I would go bust the circuses and give them summonses and actually remove some of the roundups. But back then, when you went to the circus, I think it might have been Clyde Beatty or Ringling Brothers when I was a little kid. And one of the things that you would get is they would give you a red-eared slider turtle as a gift, or you could buy one for $2 or $1, and everyone came home with those, and they didn't know how to take care of them, and they died, and they talked about salmonella. Salmonella is not a turtle disease, it's a dirty disease, and I have a friend of mine that and she's about my age, she now has one of those red-eared sliders that actually lives in her bathtub that's probably in the neighborhood of 42 years old.
You know, that makes me think I want to. I don't have any kind of dog or cat right now. It makes me think I want to go out and get a turtle. I really like turtles.
Turtles, tortoises. I have a friend of mine, Joy, does a lot of rescue. She has a tortoise in the backyard. It's like the tortoise runs the backyard. The dogs respond to the tortoise more than the tortoise responding to. So yeah, I believe there's the Los Angeles Turtle and Tortoise Society. You might want to contact them. I'm sure that they might have some turtles or tortoises up for adoption.
Oh, and by the way, I had a dog. He passed away years ago. His name was Tubby, and he was a toy terrier. And I swear, if Tubby had been a human, or if he had a job, he would have been a detective.
He was always investigating. Anyway, I want you to, Peter, I want you to do that. I want you to call me back. I want you to contact, I believe it's either Southern California Tortoise and Turtle Society. I deal with so many, or Los Angeles. Contact them. See if they have anything. And if you're really concerned, adopt one. I'd love to see a turtle or a tortoise find them. And give me a call back. Got to move on, but give me a call back next week. Let me know when you have a new turtle family or tortoise family member. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Before I get to you, Monica, and I'm definitely going to get to you, and Silva, and Silva calling all the way from Hawaii, and Lisa. We got Lisa calling, and we got Chuck calling. We've got to as many calls as we can. I do have an open line or two, though. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. So let me share this with you, and then I'll get to your calls, I promise. And it's basically something I wrote. I did a lot of writing this week. I mean, my lovely wife, Denise, is in Omaha, so what do I have to do besides play with Molly and Willie and do some writing? So let me share this with you. Spending time with a cat can help reduce stress and anxiety. The calming effects of stroking a cat or simply watching them play can promote relaxation. Cats have a way of grounding us. Let me say that again. Cats have a way of grounding us and bringing us back to the present moment. Their soothing presence can serve as a welcome distraction from life's daily pressures. The presence of a cat can also elevate your mood and bring joy to your life. Their playful antics and affectionate nature can lift your spirits and even the gloomiest days. Watching a cat chase after a toy or curl up on a sunbeam can't help but make you smile. It's hard to stay in a bad mood when you have a furry feline around you. And that's how I feel about cats. And a lot of people misunderstand them. But let me tell you, there's a lot of seniors out there, a lot of people that are confined, that have cats as their pet. And I got to tell you, those cats make them feel as good as any dog makes a dog guardian feel as well. I know there are dog guardians out there that are going to disagree with me, but I'm telling you, people that have had the opportunity to be owned by a cat and live with a cat and understand the cat really do understand how calming and how much they can reduce anxiety and stress. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let's go to Monica, Thousand Oaks. Hey, Monica, welcome to the show.
Hi, Warren. Yes, I've had my lives with cats, 9 of them. But, yes, I love cats. They're just like, you meditate just by watching how they entertain themselves. They take care of themselves. They find they humor you in the way they just crawl into little spaces, and you're just wondering, where are they? And they're just beautiful, and just like when you pet them, I think that your blood pressure can actually go down.
Absolutely. No, that's actually been studied. That's actually been studied. When you stroke a cat, it actually does lower your blood pressure and the cortisol.
Oh yes, and my dog would be a guard dog. Because I would have more cats. We haven't had one for a while, or I'd like to maybe adopt some dogs. but he's just kind of like a guard dog, and he kind of would. I'm afraid he'd bite him.
Well, if you take the time to introduce them properly, it's amazing how many people say, I have this ferocious dog and blah, blah, blah. And if they took the time to introduce properly, they find out that ferocious dog and the cat that they adopted are now sleeping whisker to whisker. So if it's done properly, it can be done. You got to work with the right rescue and your right humane organization.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right, Monica. Those people,
I agree.
dog
Thank
people.
You, Warren.
Thank you. Dog people tend to be a little bit. Oh, God, get in trouble, Warren. Dog people tend to be a little bit more bragging or a little bit more apt. I think more people, even at the workplace, I believe more people, there are a lot of people have pictures of their cats, but I think more people talk about what their dog is doing than they talk about what their cat is doing. I may be wrong, so, I don't work in an office, so if someone out there corrects me, please do so. Question of the day is, if your dog had a job, what would it be? Still coming up, we're going to get to you, Lisa, we're going to get to you, Sylvia, we're going to get to you, Chuck, I promise. Still coming up, though, we're going to take a look at this study that says, when you say goodbye to your pets, they cross the rainbow bridge. But I talked about this once before, and I'd love to hear from anyone out there that had a paranormal relationship after their dog or cat passed away. I talked about this, that some people can actually dream about their dog or cat after they're gone. There are times where I swear it could be late at night, and I could be sitting around and doing what I do late at night, and I hear the tap of a cat or dog's nails on the floor, or I pick up the smell of a dog or cat that I lived with for years. I know that sounds eccentric to people out there, but it's in my heart, it's in my soul. Maybe it's imaginary on my part, but I believe it. I believe it. So a lot of people say they've had paranormal experiences with their pets when they pass on, and they say it really helped them with their grief. So if you've had to say goodbye to a dog or cat and you believe you've had some, I don't want to say out of body, but some paranormal relationship, I'd love to hear from you as well. Give me a call, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Or you can write to me right now. We're doing live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. By the way, you should subscribe to that. I do share a lot of information there, a lot of great videos as well. youtube.com/Warren Eckstein. Again, the number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Let me take a quick break, then we'll get back to your calls. I promise. I do have an open line, by the way, so great time to give me a call. Listen, people say, Warren, why do you talk so much about Lucy Pet? Here, Kitty, we are back on the Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to give me a call if you have a question or comment about your dog or cat. I just want to share a great story about them. Phone number here, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Hey, just before I get back to the phones, if you live in California, and the majority of my listeners right now are living in California, it's my LA show, I read this headline, California tenants with pets rejoice. A new bill that stops landlords from denying housing to pet owners. I'd rather use the word guardians, but pet owners is in the works. The chair of the California Legislative Renter Caucus, Matt Haney, has introduced legislation that would compel landlords to accept tenants with pets. The bill, AB 2216, will insist that landlords have a reasonable or reasons for not allowing a pet into the rental unit. The biggest change, however, is that the bill prevents property owners from asking about pet ownership before the tenant's application has been approved. The new bill, which is sponsored by the Humane Society of the United States, aims to solve a big problem in the rental world, a surplus of tenants with pets and a lack of landlords willing to rent to them. Interesting. I'm going to follow this along because I really love to see this thing go through, because so many people, I have women that have called me up and men that have called me up living in their cars because they couldn't find a place to stay with their dogs or with their cats. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number. Let me go to Lisa, then Sylvie, and then Chuck. Hey, Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you for taking my call. Hello, thank you for taking my call.
It's my pleasure. What's up? I'm kind of short on time, so what's up?
I know. I'm going to try to get to the point real fast. First of all, on Channel 7, they broadcasted a horrible incident of animal cruelty that they said was so graphic they couldn't even film it. They couldn't show it. But I wanted to say that I don't know if you want to get your friend Leo Grillo involved in this because they can't find the dog. and they said that they caught the guy, but they could. Did you see it on Channel 7 last night?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't see the story. I'll research the story and see if there's anything I can guide with.
Please
but I'll research the
because
story.
I would like it if they could find the dog. The dog, I don't know they don't know if the dog is alive or dead or what's wrong, but they said it was so horrible that they couldn't even film it. They couldn't.
Well,
show
let me take a look. Let me take a look at it. And Channel 7 has a pretty good viewership, and I'm sure there are people out there working on it already. But I will check into it and watch the story myself.
Yeah, PM. Can I tell you one more thing before you go? There's a website to help the bears across the pond called breakthecage.today. www.breakthecage.today.
Lisa, because people are listening on the radio. What I want you to do is, I would like you. I'm gonna drop you, but I want you to go to my send me an email, mail@thepetshow.com with that information. Let me share it there because people are not going to pick up where to go. And I'm a big believer also. A lot of bears are in cages and really abused in Europe as well. Hey, the phone number here 866-870-KRLA 866-870-5752. Sylvia, Chuck, be patient with that. We'll get to your calls. I promise that. But before I do that, before I took that last break, I was talking about this. And, I remember giving a seminar many, many years ago at the Animal Medical Center in Manhattan specifically about this. But I want to share this with you. A new study suggests that if you have a pet that has crossed the Rainbow Bridge, having a paranormal encounter with that ghost or their ghost may help you deal with the grief. Physical experience like hearing your dog's nails on the floor or seeing their ghost to interpret experiences like dreaming about your deceased pet can make a difference. The vast majority of reported feelings, 74.6 were positive, bringing people comfort, reassurance, and a sense of protection. The supernatural experience may serve as an important source of comfort and a way for the bereaved to engage with the loss. Many of us, including myself, who have lost a pet, have felt their spirit with us. Whether that was when we were taking a walk in nature or thinking we hear a meow coming from somewhere in the house. Now, I know there are people out there that think that's a little crazy and a little over the top. But having studied in Europe and also being Romanian, maybe I have a little bit more of my grandmother's beliefs in terms of paranormal things. Literally, my grandmother grew up a couple of miles from Transylvania. I believe this. I believe this in my heart. I believe that our animals, and I guess people do, but for animals, from my perspective, they never really leave us. Their body may leave us, but they never really leave us. I mean, I can sit here right now as I'm talking to you on the radio, and I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pets in my lifetime, and I can visualize any one of those pets in an instant. And as soon as I visualize them, something about them pops in. Could be a smell, could be a sound, I don't know. So I don't know if maybe I'm a little eccentric. I do know I'm a little eccentric, but I really believe that our dogs and our cats and other animals really never leave us. They may cross over the Rainbow Bridge, but there's something that always stays with us. I don't know exactly how to describe it. I'd love to hear from some more of my spiritual people out there, and there's a lot of you out there that can help me understand it even better than I do. I just know that it's there. I remember in Europe sitting down just outside the University of Frankfurt, sitting there and talking to someone who's been kind of studying these paranormal things for years. And he said, Warren, I got to be honest with you. I came into this looking like I would not believe any of it. It's malarkey. It's baloney. It's absolute baloney. And then he said, but the more I researched it, the more I looked at it, the more I tried to understand it, the more I realized that it's true. So if anyone out there, I've got another bit to go. If you've ever thought that maybe you've had a paranormal experience with a dog or a cat or a horse or any animal that's crossed over, I'd love to hear from you. I honestly believe it in my heart. I believe that nothing ever leaves us for good. Temporarily, maybe, but when we need them, they're there. In my case, it's certain people that have mentored me, and without a doubt, it's the animals that have given me God, the life that I have, and given me the clear thoughts and the ego that says there is no ego, that we're all here together, whether it be a dog, a cat, or rat, a snake, doesn't make any difference. But if you've had a paranormal experience with your pet, or you believe you've dreamt about them, or you smell them, or all of a sudden you find a dog hair around and you haven't had a dog for like 5 or 6 years, give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Now, I know for some people out there, this may sound a little out there, but I got to be honest with you. I believe it, and I'd love to hear from some people that either believe it or maybe they disbelieve it. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. 866-870-KRLA. Excuse me. 866-870-5752. Let me take a break. When we come back, Sylvia, we're going to get right to you, calling from Kiai, Hawaii. We've got Chuck calling from Hollywood. I want to get to you, Chuck, because I think it's an important call. But I do have a couple of open lines, so if you have a question or a comment or want to talk to me about that, the phone number 866-870-KRLA. Or if you want to take that other question today, do you believe that if your dog were to have a job or your cat were to have a job, what type of career would they have? Give me a call. Let me know. 866-870-KRLA, the phone number, 866-870-5752. You heard someone reference Delta Rescue before, so let me tell you about my friends at Delta Rescue again. And we are back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. Great time to call me if you have a question or comment about your dog or cat. That phone number, 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. Just before I get to your calls, I'm going to get to them in just a second. I want to share this with you. A lot of people assume that cats purr when they're content, but did you know that purring serves a variety of purposes beyond just being happy? While contentment is certainly one reason cats purr, it may also purr to soothe themselves in stressful situations, promote healing, relaxation, or even communicate with their human companions. The frequency of a cat's purr has been shown to have therapeutic values. It's amazing that they really can even heal themselves by purring, the therapeutic value of the purr. And people just means that the cat loves them, which it does, but it also means that they're just purring to make themselves feel better when they're stressed out a little bit or feeling a little anxiety. 866-870-KRLA. Let me go to... I'll take you guys right in order. We got Sylvia calling, and then we got Chuck, and then we got Sylvester. So, Sylvia, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi, Sylvia. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks for taking my call.
How's everything in Hawaii today?
Beautiful as usual.
It's always been, knock it off. It's always beautiful in Hawaii.
I can't complain.
I know you can't. What can I do for you?
I've been watching a brother and sister feral cats about the last 4 years. I saw them as kittens, had them fixed and everything. And then, like brothers and sisters, he picks on her a lot, okay? And she just, tolerates her or moves away. Then he got injured. He was gone for like a month. And I think she liked that time without him, okay? And then he returned after his injury. Sure. And all of a sudden she's saying, oh, I don't want to be around him. Like when they come in and eat, sometimes she won't come in. And I have to put her food outside. And she's lost so much weight. I'm really concerned.
How many times a day do you feed her?
Twice, morning and night.
Okay, and you may want to increase that if you can to 3 feedings a day. What happens when they're together at this point?
They're sitting together like 2 feet away from each other. They tolerate each other. It's fine.
And how long has the male cat been home? How long has the male cat been back?
About a month and a half now. Yeah. He lost his eye from a bad fight. So that's why he was gone for that long.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a firm believer in keeping them inside. But the bottom line is I think the cat will get over it. Sometimes the relationship that they had, even though it was an adversary relationship, and I've had adversary relationships over the years with my sister, but the bottom line is they will readapt to each other, but it's going to take a little bit more time. And remember now, the smell of the male cat is entirely different. The look of the male cat is entirely different. Probably reaction of the male cat cat towards the female cat is entirely different. And one of the things that we pick up when we're dealing with animals, specifically dogs and cats, is when they're stressed or there's any anxiety or any tumult or trauma going on in their life, one of the first things we notice is the fact that they go off their feed. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to send you some kitty lickies, okay? What I want you to try to do, sometimes we need those to encourage the, something very special, or you might want to try even taking a little tuna juice, tuna only in spring water, take some of the tuna juice and maybe pour that over. Try other things to encourage her to eat, because once she starts eating, once they lose their appetite, you have to encourage them again. So kind of teasing her a little bit and even spoiling her a little bit with different things may encourage her to start eating again. So I'm going to send you the kitty lickies. You can break those over or give them as a treat to the cats. But I want you to understand that the cat that came back after losing its eye smells different, looks different, reacts different, thus causing the female cat to go off of the feed. So give them more time. They will readjust to each other, but it'll take a little bit more time. But you have to at least make sure that the cat is getting enough caloric intake at this point.
Yeah, that's right. I tried. I got canned foods because I only feed them kibble, and I got canned. And in fact, both of them turned their nose up at canned food.
Well, maybe it's the wrong. What I want you to do also is before you put her food down, I want you to heat it up just a little bit in the microwave. The heated food may make it smell stronger, may encourage you to eat. Put the kitty lickies on it. Try the tuna water on it. That may be the case. But it's just a matter of time. Trauma for our pets is no different than trauma for people. They all go through it at a different rate, at a different pace. So it's going to take a little time. But remember, everything's different now. The cat that was aggressive to her probably not as aggressive at this point. So the change in that personality, and it's very often, I'll give you a prime example. If you have two cats living in a house and you take one cat to the veterinary hospital, very often when you bring that cat back, it's like they've never known each other before. It's like starting from scratch all over again. The scents are different, the reactions are different.
I didn't realize that. Okay, that makes sense.
But now that you have two cats, before you have, God forbid you should never have to, but if you ever have to take the cat to the vet again, what I want you to do is take a towel, rub it on the cat, keep it in a plastic bag, and when the cat comes home, take that towel, rub it on the cat, so the scent that he had before he left is back on him when he returns.
Very interesting. Very good.
Anyway, give him a hug and a kiss. I'm going to put you on hold. The lovely Suzette's going to pick up, and we're going to send you some kitty lickies from my good friend over at Lucy Pet Food, and I do appreciate that phone call. Do we have Chuck, or was the call lost? I don't know. Let me see if we can go to Chuck. Hey, Chuck, how you doing?
Hey, Warren, how are you?
I could not be better, Chuck. What can I do for you?
Hello.
Hi, Chuck.
Hey, Warren. Sorry.
That's okay.
I have a question for you about harnesses for cats.
Yeah.
I used to walk my cat on a harness that was made out of like a thick dress shoestring. It wasn't, there was hardly anything to it, and it's the only harness that she will walk on. Well, I lost it, and I can't find another one, and I'm wondering your thoughts on harnesses in general. It seems the lighter, the better, but everywhere I go, they're very similar to dog harnesses.
How big is your cat?
She's 10 pounds.
So she's about an average sized cat. You know what? Let me do this. Hang in there, Chuck. Let me take a break. I want to come back. I wanted to go over that with you because it's real important. I want to go over that with you. So I'm going to put you on hold. When we come back, we'll get to him. Then we'll get to Sylvester as well. The phone number here, 866-870-KRLA. Great question about the harness and cats. When I first started talking about harness training in cats, people thought I was nuts. So we're going to get back to your call right after this. Phone number 866-870-KRLA, 866-870-5752. That is the way to get to a quick break, then right back to your calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. It was just on the other day. The Pink Panther. This is the Pink Panther, right, Alex? Pink Panther. There you go. Hey, we're back on The Pet Show. I'm Warren Eckstein. If you're out there driving around, you can't get to a phone, just remember that right after I get off the air here, I do my national Canadian show, also for Armed Forces Radio. So I'll give you that phone number before I get off the air. So if you're out there driving around, you can always call that show. It's the same type of show as this. All right, so let me get back to the phone lines here. We're talking to my friend Chuck in Hollywood, and Chuck said he had a harness for his cat, and now he can't find a harness that's like that. Have you done a lot of research on it, Chuck, looking for the light harness that you had in the past for the cat?
I have. I've looked online. I've gone to the various pet shops here in L.A. And everyone looks at me blankly like they've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of what's called the figure 8 harness for cats. Now, they come in different sizes and different styles. One of the things that you may have to do is you may have to stop looking at cat harnesses and take a look at ferret or rabbit harnesses.
Ah, great idea.
Every once in a while, I come up with one. Not too often, Chuck, but every once in a while. The reason I say that is because they're often a little bit lighter. So, most of my rabbits walked on a harness, and ferrets I've lived with over the years have had harnesses on. So, I think the ferret harness may probably be the best way to go. So, I would check a ferret harness, rabbit harness. I'm sure you Google lightweight cat harnesses, and everyone's getting so fancy nowadays, and everything's so advanced nowadays, and sometimes the good old things that we had back then were even better. So yeah, I would definitely suggest trying either a ferret or a rabbit harness at this point, and let me know how that works out for you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
And you'll give me a call back and let me know when you found it, right?
I will.
All right. Listen, you know what? Don't go anywhere. I like you, Chuck. I'm going to put you on hold, and I am sending you a T-shirt that say, "None of my friends walk upright." By the way, those T-shirts are available at my website, thepetshow.com. Now, the T-shirts come in a couple of different colors. It says, "None of my friends walk upright" in the front, which is my copyrighted line. And the back, it says, thepetshow.com with Warren Eckstein. So if you buy one of those shirts, I don't know what they are, $13, $14, $15, I don't know what they are, $14, $15. That money goes directly to the Hugs and Kisses Animal Fund, which is my own, which you'll be hearing more about in the future, which raises money to help out small mom and pop rescues all across the United States and Canada. So if you want to check out those T-shirts, go to my website, thepetshow.com, thepetshow.com. All right, I'm going to go to, let me go to Sylvester, then we'll go to Pam. Hey, Sylvester, calling from Oregon. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Warren, I never heard your show before, and by accident, I listened to this station, and I got you. You're incredible, Warren. Everything you say, I agree with. Oh my God! So I want to.
Well, I haven't said everything yet.
Well, whatever you said was perfect, and I really enjoy it. You're really smart. But I want to tell you that people think I'm crazy because I am positive I was a cat in a previous life. I'm positive.
What makes you think so?
I can get any cat, any dog to come up to me, any squirrel I can get to come up to me. So I just. I tell people that, and they see that what I do with animals, but they still think I'm crazy. So I just want to tell
I've
you
always said
every cat and dog that I've had I found it or it's a rescue. So the cat I have now, I've had for about 3 years, and it was a rescue cat, and I am so close emotionally and spiritually with that cat, I can't tell you.
It's amazing. It's amazing, Sylvester. Sylvester, it's amazing that you're saying that. And the reason I say that, because very often people.
It's totally true.
Well, no, I believe. You're preaching to the choir. I believe it.
They want to put me away.
No, well, listen. Get in line right behind me. They've been trying to put me away for many, 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 many years. I believe that there are certain people that have, maybe if you believe in past life experiences, I don't know, some people do, but there are certain people that have something very, very special about them. I had the opportunity, because I've worked with literally thousands of rescue workers and humane workers all across the country, all across the world for years, and there are certain people that have a certain ability. There's a certain aura that comes across, and it says to the animals, non-threatening friend, and you're just one of those people, Sylvester, that has that ability, and I would be thankful for that every day, because there's no relationship like the. I can tell.
Well, I got to tell you, I am definitely closer with my cat than I am with my wife, and I get along with my wife well. But so this is what happened. My cat that I had previously was also a cat that just walked in one day. But the day he walked in, it was like he'd been there forever. He was totally comfortable, and I could take him any place without a leash. I take him to restaurants. I take him out to the beach, wherever I take him. I did not need a cage or anything with him. I just let him loose. And when I went to a restaurant, he would just stay there. And when he died, I could never get a cat. It took me 10 years to get another cat.
Sylvester, you're one of those. You're one of those very, very special people that you don't meet that often. One of those very special people that has that ability to get rid of the human ego and accept the fact that pets are part. Hey, listen, I got to move on, Sylvester, but I know it's the first time.
Anyway, thanks a lot. You're great. You're really great. Thanks.
Sylvester, don't go. No, Sylvester, don't go anywhere. Hold on. I'm going to put you on hold. Suzette, let's send Sylvester a T-shirt also that says "None of my friends woke up right," and I really appreciate that phone call. Let me take a break, Pam. When we come back, I definitely want to talk to you because Pam says that she's had a psychic experience with the cats. I want to talk about that. The phone number. You know what? She's going to probably be my last call. So if you're listening right now, write this number down, but don't start calling it till 1 o'clock. This is the phone number for my National Canadian American Forces Radio. The show starts at 1 o'clock, right after I get off there here. But don't start calling before 1 o'clock. So write this number down. Same type of show. I give away some of the same items. That phone number for the national show is 877-725-8255. 877-725-8255. That is the phone number for the national show, but don't start calling till 1 o'clock. That phone goes into Washington, D.C. to Radio America, so they'll click on those lines at 1, but don't start calling before that. But when you call, I'll get to your calls, and perhaps I'll send you a great gift as well. Quick break, then right back to your phone calls. I'm Warren Eckstein. You're listening to The Pet Show. On The Pet Show, I'm Warren Eckstein. Write this number down. You can start calling at 1 o'clock, 877-725-8255. But right now, let me go to Pam in Newport Beach. Hi, Pam. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you, Warren. How are you?
I am doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. You asked about anybody had a psychic experience with their pets, and I just had to call because I've had some, but this one was a biggie. So it was a couple years ago. I had gone to see a psychic. My mom had passed away, and I was talking to him, and it had been about 20 minutes, and he was really spot on. And then he stops and he says, "Did you have pets or dogs?" Or I said, "I had cats." And he said, "Did you have 3 of them?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "They just walked in. They lined up and they walked in and they're sitting by your feet." And I had 3, and he said, "Yeah, they're sitting there chatting. You know, they were sitting there with me." And when we were getting ready to finish, he was chatting, and he said, "Oh, there they go. They're walking out." And they just walked right out. And they were always really tight, all 3 of them, and I still have dreams about them all the time.
I am a firm believer, and I joke about this, that I'm Romanian, and, you know, my grandmother grew up near Transylvania, you know. But the bottom line is I believe, I truly believe this. You know, might not be the most spiritual person in the world, but I believe that when we cross over, that's just our body, but there's our soul, our spirit, our light is there. So there's no doubt in my mind that all of the animals I've lived with over the years, and I'm talking about, there are times I could be just sitting around or driving long distance between LA and Arizona in my car, and all of a sudden one of the pets I haven't had in 30 or 40 years pops into my head. But it's more than just popping into my head. It's a visualization of that animal. It's the smell of that animal. And sometimes I'll find myself all of a sudden teardrops coming out of my eyes or a smile going up on my face just thinking about. So I'm a firm believer that they never leave us, and I really do believe that they come back when we're in the most needing time, as i.e. the loss of your mom. So yeah, I know people think you're a little crazy out there for doing it, but I believe 100% that you're absolutely right.
No, it's very true. And I asked him, I said, do you see pets a lot? And he said, absolutely. I see them all the time.
I think some people are afraid to admit it, but I agree with you 100%. Anyway.
That was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I really do. A great call, by the way. Keep calling. I want to hear more about your stories. Oh, you have a great day. We're going to have to say goodbye for now, but I want you to do this. Write this number down, 877-725-8255. 877-725-8255. You can start calling. We'll get to your calls there. Alex, thank you for running the board. Suzette, thank you for taking the calls. Till next week, give all your pets a big hug and a kiss for you, one between the ears for me. I'm Warren Eckstein. And once again, thank you for listening to The Pet Show.